kind of animal are you?
Quick disclaimer before we start this.
Hello everyone! Today I wanted to waste my time comparing the Fnaf adaptation movie and the Fnaf Ripoff movie, Willy's Wonderland. Well, you know, the movie everybody shit on, but everybody agreed that Nicolas Cage starring the main role is just hilarious in this film. Because the interesting part of this multiverse of madness is that Willy's Wonderland came out 2 years before the official Fnaf adaptation. And yet, both of those movies, original and the parody films, share a lot of scenes and a lot of cliches, which is at least a little interesting. I am not saying, of course, that one copied the other, but it does kind of look like one movie was filled with outdated concepts while the other one was trying to make fun of them. I am saying tried, but we'll get to it. Also, the Ripoff does a lot of things better, somehow, to the extent that it almost feels like a parody understands FNAF universe way better than the official adaptation. Alright, let me show you what I'm talking about. For example, movies start almost exactly the same. We get essentially a sequence where random people just running away from something scary that is not really shown to us. Except in the official FNAF adaptation, the night guard gets trapped in the chair from Saw. In here, the movie just cuts away to... Also, wait a minute, Nick Cage's outfit here seems very familiar. And that background music, hang on. Nicolas Cage's car broke in the middle of nowhere. Luckily, there was a mechanic to pick him up. They both drive to some city in the middle of nowhere. And then the movie surprisingly cuts to, police brutality.
Typical. So typical.
I'm joking, of course. This girl apparently tried to burn some pizzeria. Just like Henry, Emily, and the end of FNAF franchise. Bruh, going ahead of canon, you guys. God damn it, if she was a tiny bit faster and not a freaking slowpoke, the movie would have been over before it even started. Nicolas Cage, meanwhile, arrives to the same pizzeria, where camera accidentally shows the missing posters. Okay, bruh, you could stop showing the missing posters. We're not blind. Meanwhile, turns out Nicolas Cage Kamara is freaking trashed. Well, no wonder, honestly. Have you seen Bumblebee in the last Transformer movies? Mechanic says he's gonna fix the Transformer though, but for only 1.5K. But here's the thing, he only wants to receive payment in cash. And okay, unlike Mike, who was Nicolas Cage is able to pay the whole thing. The issue is... Bruh, who the hell carries $1,500 in cash on him? Not Nicolas Cage, that's for sure. Because of that, Nicolas Cage received the same offer Mike from FNAF movie got. He has to watch over Willy's Wonderland overnight. Wait, so you're telling me the owner of the restaurant is ready to cover $1,500 payment just for 8 hours of work?
This sounds like a scam.
Nick, on the other hand, sees nothing wrong with it, so he agrees. Well, he shakes his head. I'm gonna give you a spoiler, Nick Cage in this entire film says total of 0 words.
Not very chatty today, are ya?
Yeah, a lot of people brag that a new Mad Max movie, Furiosa, only says like 20 lines in the whole movie, because apparently she's just too cool for school. And well, if number of words distinguishes your level of coolness, bruh, Nick Cage is probably the coolest one there is. Well, it's either that or bro must be still recovering from that freaking swear documentary. Alright, I feel like the introduction is getting a little too long. Let's welcome the animatronics / the horror show that is ready to unravel for us. And to be completely honest, you know, in FNAF I can't complain about the atmosphere because the FNAF animatronics themselves are not really scary. So yeah, in here I don't even have to say anything. Look at those monstrosities! And okay, for the atmosphere of the horror movie, this is pretty good, but for the realism, like, who the hell would bring their child to a party with this thing present in it? Jesus Christ! Funny enough though, both original and parody FNAF films start with the main character watching tapes of the animatronics, and this is interesting considering the parody version came out way before FNAF adaptation.
Well... coincidence.
Nicolas Cage starts cleaning as promised, until one of the animatronics appears.
But wait! He's alive!
To which Nicolas Cage politely beats the shit out of children's entertainment. Nah, seriously, the fight is freaking amazing. They even cosplay freaking Predator scene in this one. And this is honestly really refreshing after all the death scenes in FNAF movie where animatronics were killing people off screen. This is where I started to understand what kind of movie this is gonna be. If in the original FNAF animatronics were supposed to be a threat, in here, well, they're also a threat. The issue is Nicolas Cage is a bigger threat. Funny part, just like in original games, the Night Guard, after seeing all the insanity of moving animatronics at night, just doesn't leave for some reason. In here, same thing, Nick Cage doesn't even want to leave. He just normally packs up the broken robot and keeps cleaning. Well, like TikTok philosophers say, $1,500 is $1,500 after all.
I'm not gay, but if I was...
The parodying and insanity here works 110% honestly. The movie literally trying as hard as possible to say, hey, we're not a serious picture. After all, movie only has $5 million budget. Speaking of nonsense, by the way, Nicolas Cage decides to clean the bathroom. And this is honestly hilarious because I love moments in films where the celebrities doing like the basic stuff like cleaning dishes, and usually those scenes don't last very long because, well, celebrities don't want to do it. In here, Nick Cage is working for his money. Like, you might be thinking I'm exaggerating for a video, but no, they got a whole cleaning montage. The cleaning continues until a guy in gorilla costume shows up. Well, I mean a really dangerous animatronic, who Nick Cage eliminates with a plunger. With a freaking plunger, come on!
It's a good thing that story scared me shitless, because it'll be a long time before I'm able to sit on a toilet again.
It's interesting, by the way, that in FNAF movie, nobody really tried to fight the animatronics. They try to tase them, but that's about it. And we can guess the animatronics are probably physically stronger than humans, but like, most death in FNAF happened off screen, so like, no idea. Anyhow, after making Gorilla bite the toilet in 4K, Nicolas Cage surprisingly drinks some soda and plays a pinball machine. Bruh, what a man.
You are the living duplicate of the greatest man in history.
Speaking of, remember that girl who was arrested at the beginning of the movie? Yes, unfortunately, she's not a useless secondary character. Well, I mean, she is, but everyone's useless comparing to Nicolas Cage in this film. Basically, her and her gang of friends are about to finally burn this place down. Oh yeah, and I'm pretty much just gonna call those characters Girl and Friends, because pretty much they're only here to get killed by the animatronics later, and B, because everything they're doing here is useless. Because Nicolas Cage has other plans and you mortals aren't powerful enough to stop him. Yeah, I know I complained about characters in FNAF, but in there they at least like did something that led to the plot progressing. In here they're just literally just NPCs so the main character can like shine in front of them. So, like I said, kids are trying to burn the pizzeria, but all of a sudden they realize Nick Cage isn't in there. They're trying to get him out. The only issue is he doesn't really want to get out. Bruh, the character is literally every manager's dream, I swear. Anyway, kids are trying to get into the pizzeria to get Nick Cage out. However, for some reason, upon getting inside, they all start just doing, well, literally random shit. Girl right away vents, but unfortunately bumps into the freaking parody of Gator Monty.
Rock and roll!
Other kids, upon getting inside, try to fight animatronics, but also fail. Other, for some reason, start having sex.
What the heck are you guys doing?
Do I actually need to explain why this is an idiocy? Don't worry though, Monty quickly puts the end to the show.
Fuck by Monty. Indeed.
Luckily, while running away from Monty, the girl bumps into Nick Cage, who immediately eradicates the animatronic. I'm starting to think that those animatronics have pretty much same IQ level as those kids, because, well, they could have at least teamed up and not attacked Nick Cage one by one. I mean, they would have failed anyway, obviously, but still. Kids realize that Nick Cage is pretty much the Gojo of this universe, and nothing and nobody can stop him. However, he still doesn't want to leave because, well, the deal is a deal. And I doubt any of those kids are a mechanic. Because of that, the kids decide to tell him the horrible backstory of this pizzeria. It was founded by a businessman slash serial killer named Jerry. You might think it sounds like a start of an anecdote, but hang on, there's more. Jerry had a whole gang of furry friends, who like to dress up in animal cosplay costumes and also kill people. However, unlike with Willy and Afton, the police quickly figured out the whole scam.
FBI, open up!
But upon arriving to the pizzeria, they realize that the whole crew of furries made a satanic ritual to transfer their minds into the bodies of animatronics. And 10 years later, this cowboy who looks like Dog Dimadome decided to buy the pizzeria and make it into a working establishment again. But oh boy, who would have thought the animatronics are still evil because they still possess the souls of the serial killers, and well, they just closed and locked the doors of the pizzeria. No, they didn't burn it like in Fnaf, they just left it.
What did you think was gonna happen?
Who would have thought later people around the city started randomly disappearing. And that's when everybody realized animatronics were possessed. And then Sheriff and the mayor made a deal with those furry bastards. They basically proposed that they're gonna stage some accidents with cars who are driving on the highway, lure them into the pizzeria where they're pretty much gonna be served as a human sacrifice to the animatronics.
That's a great plan, Walter. That's fucking ingenious if I understand it correctly. It's a Swiss fucking wad.
Again, why the hell didn't you just burn the place? And bruh, both movies have several scenes where characters literally just stand up and explain a whole bunch of exposition to what happened before, who is the villain, blah blah blah. Only in FNAF, Vanessa doesn't even explain the whole thing, clearly leaving some info for the sequels. And these guys at least try to convince Nicolas Cage to leave, that's why they tell him the whole story, and just like, well, at least there was a reason. Whatever, animatronics all of a sudden decided to attack everybody! And because they're attacking all at once, and the kids decided to split up. For some reason, Nicolas Cage is unable to save most of them.
Surprise, motherfucker!
After some action, we only have the girl and, well, another guy whose name doesn't even matter. Also, again, original and the parody films both have a scene where somebody's hiding behind the arcade machine while the animatronic is slowly looking for it. The guy surprisingly does probably one of the smartest things that you can do in this movie. He calls the cops. However, like I told you before, the cops are pretty much on the animatronic side, so when they arrive, the situation isn't any better. Yeah, I feel like I've seen this before too. Again, I remind you, the parody film came out way before the actual adaptation. Also, I freaking love this scene where Nicolas Cage and the girl are ready to fight the animatronics when Nicolas Cage realizes it's his lunch break, so he just leaves. Oh, and by the way, if anybody is upset this movie doesn't have any love line, well, let me introduce you, Nicolas Cage and the pinball machine. Yes, I'm not joking. Because literally every break he goes to play a pinball machine and get a can of soda. And literally, but bro, look at those two. I have no idea what director wanted to say with those scenes, but okay, moving on. I guess the music deserves a little mention because I don't know how about you guys, but I'm loving this theme. Unfortunately, Sheriff arrives and she has a gun, and, well, I guess gun bits fists. They tie Nicolas Cage to the chair, take a girl, and leave. If you thought that helped the animatronics at least a little bit, no, he still destroys them. And the end of the situation, we have a final battle, the Willy himself, or I mean the Jerry, I guess. Bruh, they seriously named the main villain Jerry. Anyway, Jerry starts fighting Nicolas Cage and surprisingly holds up. Nicolas Cage finally meets an equal fighter as the battle unravels between the strongest animatronic in history against the strongest Nicolas Cage of today. Nicolas Cage uses his cursed weapon, stick, and wins.
Suitably biblical ending to the place, don't you think?
In the end, Nicolas Cage leaves victorious, and the mechanic, who's apparently also was a part of this deal with animatronics, luckily fixed his car. Bro, what was even the point of that if usually everyone who enters Pizzeria just doesn't come back? What was even the point of fixing the car? Whatever. Nicolas Cage gets his Camara, drives away in the sunset. Also gets a girl? I don't know if it's... Bro, what is her age canonically?
We don't talk about that.
Damn, I don't even know if I have to say anything in conclusion. I don't have any regrets after watching this movie. It's freaking hilarious. But yeah, if we're gonna compare the picture of this movie, so how this movie looks like, it looks legitimately worse than the FNAF adaptation, of course. But honestly, no surprising. Less budget usually means less quality. Yet, still, some scenes in this movie looked actually great, like final fight with Jerry looked actually interesting with all the confetti, and like some shots were actually cinematic. The script, however, I don't even know, because I still don't understand how did it even happen that a lot of scenes and cliche that this movie uses as a joke, an actual FNAF adaptation used as either a story device or as a way to scare us. I have a feeling that this situation is more of an example how important the script is for the movie. Because for example in FNAF they clearly spend a lot of time doing the decorations and the costumes, but I feel like that's not the most important piece in the story. But yeah, Willy's Wonderland is flipping hilarious. Especially if you're watching it with a group of friends, like we were laughing the whole way through. Someone who sometimes likes to enjoy mindless action, this movie surprisingly gave me exactly what I wanted. The nonsensical aspect and, well, the concept in general is just amazing. In the end, I guess there's only one thing I can say. When is a sequel coming out? And I guess that is it for today. Tell me in the comments if you like this video, like, subscribe, see ya!